welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you spent some time here today. This video is going to be about how to make one of these simple envelope junk journals into something vintage. And because they're modern mail, obviously, but if you want to do something that's antique and vintage, how do we make something like this look like vintage? So that's kind of where I'm going to go today. And I'm going to give you just a few ideas. I don't want to take too long, but it can work. It can work. So I'm going to set this one aside. I'm going to work on it some other time. But what I've done with this one so far is it has the black, crisscross, what do you call that? It's a crisscross pattern on the envelope. And what I did was I took napkins and tissue paper and I just glued those on top of it. And then I put a label on the front, and it kind of looks like a robot now that I look at it. There's eyes, and that's looks like a robot. Anywho, and then I reinforced the edge with some washi tape. And I still have this window here that I'm gonna maybe put something in the inside about. But I also did something that I don't know if I recommend or not. I took an empty body wash bottle, filled it with coffee. As you can see, it's labeled, because we don't know what else it could be. It's not like root beer or, it's I labeled it so I don't get confused between this and my hair color bottle. I don't know. So I took this and I sprayed these pages. As you can see, I did that yesterday. And then what I'm not sure about is the dry time. This does take a while to dry. So I kind of hung it from a clothespin from one of my shelves and just let it dry overnight. But now it's all wrinkly, like old paper feels. So that's kind of something. I don't know, but it's kind of something. So I did that all over the thing, and it kind of activated some of the glue too. So I had to go through and I had to re-glue some of the edges. So, and it also loosened the stitching somewhat, because these pages, they're mailers, they're not real thick. So I'm going to have to go through and maybe tape on the pages where I think it might come undone or get ruined a little, just from use. You're going to be using it as a journal. You're going to be turning pages. So you're going to maybe need to reinforce the spine where the pages connect. And here's another example of what I tried to do. This was one of the blue, let's see, it's this page on the opposite side. So I took a stamp and I used my black Memento ink and Memento and a stamp, and I stamped around the edge. And then I took some packaging tissue paper and I just glued a rectangle on that. And this you can totally write on, no problem at all. So that's kind of what, that's one way to do it. And I made a list too of some of the things that you can use. I really like the napkin idea, because you can cover up a lot of things and it just looks totally natural. So let's work on this page. I have, so you can use different kinds of paper. So you've got coffee dyed, you can use, or I've got this is coffee dyed, just an old scrapbook kind of page. And here's a scrapbook kind of page that I coffee dyed. That looks pretty cool. But you can use that on these pages, super easy. You can use like notepad paper, just plain old lined paper. You can use that. You can use book pages. I've got a whole, this whole thing is book pages, scraps, and music, and other things that can be used. And so here's green. This is kind of cool. So maybe I can use this part to write on and maybe cover that part up. So I'm going to throw that out there just because I can. And then you can just decorate with some scraps too. I'm going to just set out some book page scraps, dictionary scraps, and do corners with that. And that's kind of, so anyway, so there's a few things. So let's do a little bit. I'm gonna move this, get this back into someplace out of the way. Okay, so this, again, I coffee dyed it, but I'm gonna cover it up in several places. So let me get some, maybe just do like a collage of, can do a collage right there, and then I can get some ephemera out too, and maybe do a little bit of that on there. So let's just, and I'm just using Elmer's extra strength glue. Otherwise, possibly might use Fabri-Tac just because I want to make sure things stick. But honestly, I'm not really worried about it. I just want to cover up all these words, and then that will give me room on here to write. And then I'm going to get this window. I'll put something over here for the window. Purity. And let's do this one the opposite direction. And then, oops. So really simple stuff. Pull out my ephemera folder here. And gets, ooh, a stamp ticket thingy. Yeah, could use something like this. Just tear one up. Yeah, what about that, friends and fams? What do you think? Not too shabby. I'll do that. Let me get the edges a little darker. Just gonna wipe it on the edge here. And watch me get ink all over my fingers. Okay. Ah! Oh, I did both sides, by the way. Let's see. Maybe I'll just gonna cover up that. Maybe do that. Sorry. Yeah, I got on a ticket making kick. I made a bunch with my stamps and made some fake tickets, and yeah, that was kind of fun. So that's cool. And then I can give it a little bit more antique-y on the edge there with some distress ink. And then let's just put a strip of washi tape right there. And let's use a green. I like this green. It's got a cool little pattern on it. And with washi tape, wonder if I should, well, I don't know. Washi tape, I like to put an extra layer of glue because this stuff doesn't always stick, you know, and you have washi tape around for a long time. You don't use up your washi tape as fast as you think you will. So when you have a lot of it, if it gets old, you really want to make sure that you glue it down a little extra. I'm going to leave a little space there for the reason of maybe I'll reinforce this on that side. Okay, trim-a-rooney that. Okay, so we're getting there. And then maybe put a little strip on this side as well, just to cover up the State Farm word. If I can find the end. Let's make that a straight edge there and have it go in the opposite direction. Okay, we are getting there. And the bottom is kind of flimsy. It's kind of flimsy, but I don't want to deal with that right now. So, well, it kind of looks vintagey. It's got, yeah, it's kind of got a vintage look to it. So let's do something on this side, and I will find a piece of ephemera for right here. Oops. Oh dear, oh my dear. There we go. That stuck, got stuck. What a little card. Would that be fun? Would that work in here? Not quite, sorry, not quite big enough. Not quite big enough. I've got this. Love's Golden Star. That's kind of fun. I kind of like that. What do you guys think? That's kind of fun. I like that. Let's do it. So that's gonna go right here. I'm gonna mark it though, just so I make sure I don't get it where it needs to go. Okay. Okay, and then I will erase those little marks. So where's my glue? That happens to me a lot. When I wrap presents too. Oh my goodness. I lose the tape. What if I do a little bit of, can mat it too? What do we think? What do we think about it? No, I really don't need to. Okay, I'm just gonna glue it on. Again, I don't want to overthink things, right? That takes too long and we don't have that kind of, I don't know, patience issues. Patience, my friend, patience. What am I doing on time? 11 minutes. Okay, and put that in there where it needs to go. Using my guidelines. And this will be bumpy. This will be a bumpy journal. So that might be something you don't like. But then you can put a little desk board or whatever they call them. It's just a hard piece of cardboard covered in pretty paper so that you can have something flat to write on between bumpy pages. Okay, so let me put maybe, I like that there. Maybe just rip a piece of paper so that I can have a writing space that covers up this and all of this writing right here. What do you think? Stay. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Oh wait, where's that green? Where did I put that green stuff? Would that be enough for this section? Yes, it would. Get out my tearing tool. So I want it about this big. Actually, I'm just going to cut off at the writing. Principle. That will get cut off too. Trim this edge. So this tearing tool is a Creative Memories, but I know you can buy lots of different tearing rulers online. Doesn't need to be a Creative Memories, although I do appreciate their products. They're very quality. Okay, so I also want to cut out this little section for the stamp. There. And let's give this top here a little bit of jagged edge too. There. Okay. Let's give it some distressing. See how it works? I mean, just give it a little bit of this and that, a little bit of ephemera. Let's wrinkle this up so it's nice and crunchy looking. Yeah, then we can do some more. And it's still usable to write on, okay? Also, when you're talking about losing the glue and losing tape, when we're doing things like this, we just kind of don't want to stop to put things away. I know there's some people who like to clean as they go, and I'm not one of those. It drives me nuts if I let the mess go too long. But if you're like me, it's just, you don't want to stop. You don't want to stop to clean. You're in a mode, you're in a zone. Okay, looking good. I like it so far. And let's do something here maybe too. Maybe I can put another flower or something like there, or a snippet. Got this. Should I just do something like that? Ooh, I could go. No, I don't want to cover up her too much. So let's just rip off a piece and put it here. What's that gonna do to my, nothing at all. Perfect. Perfectly, nicely done. And that was a snippet roll. I think I have a video on that, something like it. But yeah, this was fun to make. To trim the bottom really quick. Make it a little more, see, that looks good. I like it. See how we're moving right along here? There. Oh, and this is not sticking. So I am going to use double-sided tape. Let me do this really quick now that I've got everything glued down. Yeah, I just think double-sided tape is going to work better on the photo paper. Let me find the end to this. Oh, I could actually make her a pocket, but I'm not going to. Okay, the trick with double-sided tape is getting the double side off, especially when you cover it up with the other. Okay, crash forward. Cover that up, I did. All right, let's trim the edge of that. I think I got it. Okay, so now I gotta find out where I put it again because I took those lines out. Okay. And then this again, let's try it again. Let's add more glue just to give it, make sure it's gonna stick. So pick up pieces of messy stuff. All right. Yeah. And then you judge up the edges of this. There we go. So there you go. Working on that. Looks good so far. Got writing space here, writing space here, writing space here. So far so good, and covering up the modern, I guess you got that right there, but I'm not gonna, you know, worry. Worry's not cool, not in this fun. So I've got a whole page here that I can just do some stamping on. So let me grab some of my favorites. Here's my favorites. Let's see. This one's fun. And my block. And let's get something to do the edges so that it doesn't get on another page. So let's see, what do you think here? Yeah, something like that. Scraps, I need some scraps, I need a scrap. just for symmetry. Oh, well, that didn't turn out as much as I'd like it to. Let's see if I can get it again. Maybe I didn't get the ink on this section. Here's hoping. Here we go. Trying it again. Again, that's part of the problem with how bumpy these things are. It doesn't always, hey, that's not too bad. It's a little bit shadowed, but not too bad. Not too bad. And then I have this, and this is a cool set from Tim Holtz. It's numbers and script and print. So that's really a cool set. I use it all the time. It's called Reflections CMS 111. Yeah. So I just do a little dab here. And goes to other places. And there, that page, easy as peasy. It's good to go. Nice. And this is pretty pink. So what can I do with a pretty pink page? What can I do with a pretty pink page? I could put let's see. I could put something here on the edge. Let's see, I've got some borders. I could do, nope, that wouldn't work. Ooh, I could use some fabric, but I don't have any handy with me right this second. Don't have any handy. So I will forego that and do that some other time. What should I do on this pink page now? How about if I just stamp lines on it? I could do that. I have to find my line stamp. Or I could, oh, this is where I get to the point where I've got too many options. Snippets, clusters, words, fabric, cards, borders, dried flowers, lined paper. Lined paper. Let's just do that. Let's do a straight edge. Right? Glue it. So as you can see, this isn't too hard. I mean, you kind of have to, and it's one way to use up scraps too. Is this piece of paper just sitting around. And it's gonna be a bump though because of the envelope flap that's glued right here. And then I put it on crooked. Lovely. Lovely. I had a dentist who was British and she was just like, everything was lovely. Lovely. She was my favorite. Don't have a dentist now where I live. And then I can do something small. Got a little snippet. I could do something like could do this, make a tab on it, just for kicks and giggles. Cut that in half, because that's just a what do you think? Let me soften edges. And I see that's coming apart. And then glue schmoo. On the other side. feeling that this glue is not going to be enough for that. Let's give it a good smush and see. Okay. I don't know where my line maker stamp is because that's what I want to do. But I could do something as simple as taking a marker and making my own lines. Let's just border it, shall we? We can do that. Can you see what I'm doing here? I'm just giving it a border. Oops, and I just wrote on another page. Okay. Oops, glue that piece down. What's this one? A little smidge there too. And then make your lines just going across. And there you go. I guess that's an easy way to do it. And some pens don't work on things that have been glued, so you kind of gotta, that Elmer's glued sometimes just doesn't work on for pens. So get a permanent marker probably. Felt would work. I'm sure felt would work. And pull back. So there. I mean, it's not really vintage, so to speak, but it still is pretty in its own way. Easy. So then you just keep on going and you see what you can come up with. This yellow page would be fun. I'm excited to see what else I can come up with, but honestly, your imagination can go wherever you want it to. And making these pages vintage, just find what you have. Find what you have and use it. And you know, if it looks like a robot, so be it. But I like how she's sticking out there. That's fun. Okay, that's what I'm showing you today. Again, so many other things that you can use to do pages. Here's my little list here. You know, I've got paper, napkins, tissue, distress ink, book pages, coffee dye, watercolor paint. I didn't get any of that out, but you could do that. Snippets, clusters, words, fabric, cards, borders. If you've made snippet borders, those are great. Dried flowers, that's curious. I'm gonna try that, I have some. Ephemera images, lined paper, washi tape, and obviously marker lines, or you know, use markers to make doodles on your pages. So that's fun, and I'm excited to keep working on this. But I hope you get your stuff out. If you've made one of these junk journals out of envelopes, you know, such as this, and I showed that in a video before. This one's going to be an art one though, because I can't cover up this orange polka dots. I can't cover those up. That's just too fun. I can't cover that up. But if you make one of these junk envelope journals and you want to make something vintage, or say you don't have anything vintage and all you have is those junk journals, and so you can use these items to make it your own vintage aged kind of thing. So I'm excited to keep working on this, but I am gonna let you use your own imagination to find out what you're gonna do. I'd be happy to hear what you have too. That would be kind of fun for me. So that's all for today, you guys. I love you. Thanks again for stopping by, and I hope you're being creative, and I hope that you're healthy. And as always, friends, God bless. Bye-bye.